Welcome to the BMAX Sports Podcast.
Hey, we got 30 minutes for the rest of our lives. 30 minutes for the rest of our lives.
Make sure to subscribe on all platforms.
Let's be great. Let's be great.
Hope you enjoy the show.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Of course, it's me and Josh in the booth today. We've got some interesting topics for you today, so make sure you give us your full attention. Don't be texting and driving while listening to Josh in the morning, because you might fuck around and die. I'll be completely honest. No, I'm just kidding. We've got some stuff in the works, guys. Some nice possibilities out there that could shake up the podcast universe. Tomorrow, well, today, if you're listening, it'll be Tuesday morning. So tonight around, I'd say I'm going to try to do it around 7:30 if that's okay with Josh. What?
I don't know. I'm worried.
We're going live on Facebook.
Oh.
I've already told you this.
I didn't know what you're talking about.
You might want to get a little closer to the mic as well. I can't hardly hear you.
I got scared.
Yeah, so we're going to go live on Facebook. It's going to be a trial, so make sure y'all set y'all's alarms. I'll set up the live event tomorrow when I get home. We're going to be on our new Facebook page, Tate and Josh in the Morning.
Go follow.
Make sure you follow it, of course.
Like, subscribe on all platforms.
You guys know the drill by now. So let's get straight into this podcast. We got some interesting topics today. First on the docket, we're going to talk about my vegan diet and how it's going. I've already cheated on it once. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. I had a buddy coming to town this weekend from Atlanta. He's getting married very soon. I'm in his wedding, so shout out Miles Tomlinson, my buddy, my day one. We went to Applebee's Friday night when he got in from Atlanta, and the fucking 3 cheese with honey pepper chicken was too much for me to fucking say no to. So I'm sorry, but to be honest, I haven't noticed a big difference so far. It's been over a week, like a week and a day. I haven't noticed too much so far, so hopefully I can stay true to it, so I can give you guys a real, I guess, results of what a vegan diet can do for you. I've been doing a lot of research as well on the diets, and I think a lot of your diet has to do with your genetics, your makeup. Some diets will be more beneficial to, let's say, European people that are of European descent, and some will be something better, maybe something for people of Asian descent. I don't know. I'm looking into it. But anyway, the vegan diet is really hard to adhere to because of the lack of variety you have, especially in a small town like Dublin. There's not many vegan joints out there jumping. I will say one of the better things I've had so far is a pizza from Your Pie I did the wheat crust, vegan cheese, mushrooms, banana pepper, spinach, artichoke hearts. It fucking fantastic. It was really good. So, but anyway, I was just giving you a little update on that shit. Josh, why are you looking at me like that?
That pizza sounds terrible.
It was the opposite of terrible.
I haven't eaten Your Pie yet.
You haven't eaten Your Pie yet? It's fantastic.
I need to go. I've heard it's really good.
Oh, it's good for real. Yeah, even before I went on the vegan diet, they have all the meats and veggies you could want.
So they're still like, can you dine in now?
Yeah, they've been dining in pretty much the whole time.
Fantastic. Go against the grain, guys.
All right. So first order of business. Have you heard what's going on with Kim Jong-un?
Oh yeah, I think I saw that Sunday is when the actual news came out. I got an alert on my phone. It's all right. Kim Jong-un is a very bad dude. We all know this. His sister's worse.
Is she really? I haven't done much research on his sister.
They're worried about there's going to be like a power vacuum because she's worse than out of all the heartless women out there. She is the baddest.
I can attest to that. I've met a couple of heartless women in my life.
Yeah,
me being a heartless son of a bitch, I can't really get mad at them. So,
but I mean, yeah, she is. I think that's one thing that the people of North Korea are worried about because I mean they do have it bad with Kim Jong-un, but his sister's just as bad, if not worse. So don't look for there to be any kind of power struggle there because the government is still going to reign on high.
Yeah. So we seen earlier in the year, Kim Jong-un was rumored to be in a coma. He ended up having heart surgery, and it took him a while to recover. He wasn't in the best of health. He's still fairly young, right? He's
30s.
He's not even 40 yet.
Yeah,
so
I actually think he's a young 30s too.
So he's not even. He's not taking care of himself like he should be. Probably smoking a pack of Marlboros a day, if I had to guess.
Oh, for sure.
Doing a lot of blow and stuff like that. So you can only expect that with somebody so fucking ruthless as him. Anyway, so he's rumored to be back in a coma. We saw this in early May, I think, right around when the coronavirus shit started hitting here, that he was sick, blah, blah, blah. Well, now he's rumored to be in a coma again. And like you said, his sister has assumed the reins of the fucking, I don't even know what you call
dictatorship.
it. Dictatorship in North Korea, yeah.
And she's if anything does happen to her, that's going to where the hierarchy falls. So she'll be in charge. We'll have some new terrible person on the face of the earth, even though she's just as bad now.
Do you think that she would try some shit with America if she does come to power?
No, I mean, they're not stupid. As far as war goes, we wouldn't even have to put troops on the ground. I mean, that's just they can't. They proved a couple months ago, everything was happening. Everybody was scared World War III was going to happen because we were in this so-called nuclear standoff with North Korea. They don't have the firepower. I mean, that's the end of it. As far as her wanting to clap back and show that she's just as strong as her brother, I don't know. We'll see how it ends, and be assured that we will stay on top of it for you here at Tate and Josh in the morning.
Is she younger than him?
I don't know how old she is, to be honest with you.
I'm about to find this bitch out. Yeah, I'm about to see what this bitch is really about. Kim Yo Jong, is that her name?
Yeah.
Kim Jo Young. Let's look up a picture of her. Kim Jo Young. Oh my. She's slick a little baddie, yo. I'm not, dude. Hold on. Look at this chick's face. Yo.
I seen her, bro. She looks like death.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I might have to bust that. I might have to let her bust.
Well, I mean,
that.
you could bring world peace if you went over there and busted it and just
slick
been like.
bad.
I mean, you could ask her, just be like, "Hey, if you let me bust, will you promise not to start shit?"
Well, I don't even really care if she starts shit.
Let me tell you something. You best satisfy her son, because they got them dog cages over there. They threw her and her brother threw her uncle in a cage of starving dogs, and they ate him alive. They do punishment big time around there. So I figure if you don't hit it right, might end up in the dog cage.
Well, she's. I don't know how I feel about this. She looks like she could be a straight bit savage, like a bitch, but she looks cute and cuddly at the same time.
She does not look. She does not look cuddly.
She's like North Korea's Addison Rae, in my opinion. I could see her doing the WAP dance and twerking on the ground. I'd be extremely aroused by that.
She does not. Please don't compare her to Addison Rae, Bird.
She's North Korea's Addison Rae. I'm just saying. I'm gonna be honest. She's the most popular woman in North Korea. She's fucking a baddie, yo. Kim Jong-un's fucking hair needs, like...
Well, you can't even have a haircut like him over there.
Who would want that shit,
well,
first off?
But he made it illegal.
Yeah, I mean, it should be illegal everywhere to have fucking hair like that. That's hideous. Some of the ugliest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah, look, I mean...
Speaking of hair, let's talk about some recent hate you've gotten on your fucking mullet. I'm one that is a huge fan of your mullet. I think it's one of the most delectable mullets in the game.
Well, I think, dude, when I went from having long hair to having this mullet, and not that I regret my long hair journey, but I wish I would have had this mullet sooner. Because the mullet might be the most versatile haircut there is. Because
it goes
you can
with whatever
kinda,
you're wearing.
Yeah,
like,
number one.
When you're at work, it looks dressy. It looks elegant. But if you want to
elegant, that's the word. Yes.
If you want to throw on some fucking cut off Daisy Dukes, then it can
and
look
some
white
pit
trash.
vipers. Hell yeah,
white
bro.
trash as hell. Yeah.
Well,
for sure.
And see, here's the thing, dude. This thing here, I can just take my daggum trimmer at home, buzz the sides, look fresh. You can have this thing, dude. People don't even know. Like, you can have a long mullet and you can have a short mullet. People don't know I went 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks without getting a haircut. Just because mullets are that versatile. It's kind of like having you know, when Batman had his utility belt, this is a utility belt of hair.
I'm not going to disagree with that. It looks fantastic. But anyway, some people like it, some people don't. Yeah, that's the same shit with every haircut. So, I mean, it's not really news. I just wanted to talk on it because you were triggered earlier at work.
Yeah, the Matt Lindsay talking junk, bro. He just wishes he could have a mullet. That's all it is. He says, this mullet right here, he wishes he could pull it off, and I just don't know if he can.
He just don't know how many bitches have been
And
on that mullet. Who have rode that mullet.
I mean, I'm going to say none.
No, you're full of shit.
I'm going to say none.
You're full of shit. You
But-
can't lie to me, buddy.
I'm going to say none because
You're
there
a
hasn't been. I'm celibate.
Your mullet's not, though.
I mean, that is true. I mean,
Exactly.
my mullet has a mind of its own, so it goes out and does what it wants to.
All right, let's talk about some shit that I don't even want to talk about yet because it's so early on in the investigation. But I feel forced to because, I mean, it's pretty much getting blasted over every news network there
I
is.
feel like we're going to disagree on this one, though.
We could. It's very
I
possible.
feel like we are.
I feel like we may not. I may surprise you. So a guy in Kenosha, I guess that's how you say it, Wisconsin. His name's Jacob Blake. According to bystanders, which, I mean, you can only. That's all we have to go on. We have a very short video. Unfortunately, the people in Kenosha, Washington, or Wisconsin, do not. The sheriff's deputies don't wear body cams. I think that's problem number one there. I think by now the technology's been out for a while. You should be wearing body cams by now.
Well,
Every officer in the
How
United
big?
States.
How big is the town? Do you know?
It's probably not very big. I don't know.
Well, they probably have a really slim budget, and on top of defunding the police, you know, we're gonna have to start cutting out nice things like that.
Well, I think that's something that has to be at the forefront of your budget. You have to
Yeah.
protect your.
Oh,
you have
I
to protect
agree
your
because
officers.
yeah, it is. I mean, because what's to stop me from saying, oh well, he groped my wiener, and I didn't
that's
like
why. That's why I don't like giving my opinion so early on, but I'm gonna give it anyway. And in my opinion, is subject to change for sure,
Yeah.
based on the facts that are
I
going
mean,
to
you
come
can
out.
always retract it.
So, the video I seen was 18 seconds. It was a guy. The officers were screaming at him to stop. You know, hands up. He never puts his hands up. He walked straight. There's like 3 or 4 officers just screaming at him. According to eyewitnesses, he had broken up a fight, and the officers were got called there, so they're trying to figure out what the fuck happened. They're trying to talk to him. He's being belligerent, in my opinion, from what I can see. He's ignoring police.
It was a domestic dispute, right?
I don't know exactly what it was.
I think
The
I
thing
saw
I
the
read
word
that said it was a fight. He broke up a fight. But so, yeah, it was a verbal altercation between 2 women. So he shows up. They try to provide aid to him after they shot him, of course. But it's tough because we get such a short video.
From what I saw, he's still alive.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
article that I read.
he's in serious condition, is what this article says. That was 5 hours ago, updated 5 hours ago. So hopefully, I'm praying for this guy to pull through, obviously. But, so what do I think about this? From what I can see, should they have shot? It's tough for me to even make, because I know so little about it thus far. I think a lot of people are jumping the gun on this, and I hate to see people jumping the gun on this. So, but here it goes. The officers, according to the officers, they did try to deploy taser. For whatever reason, it failed. He walked to his car. Once he gets in his car, I think they may have shot him a little early, honestly. But there's no doubt in my mind what his intentions were getting in that car was to leave the scene. And the way he was walking and his actions looked like he didn't give a fuck what happened to anybody. Once you get in that car's a deadly weapon.
Yeah.
Because you can easily run over somebody and kill him. I think they should have waited on him because from the video I've seen, there's no way he crunked the car up before they shot him. They just fuck it. But there's no telling that the police haven't really commented on it yet. They may have seen a weapon in the car. There's no audio in this video either. So they may have even seen a weapon in this car. But if there's not a weapon in there, the officers didn't see a weapon, I think they may have shot him a little early. But once he cranks up that car and he starts to put that bitch in drive, then you have to make a decision. It's either your life or his. Because these people are crazy, including some officers. Don't make it. Yeah. I'm not trying to be prejudice by any means, but people
Well,
are crazy on both sides of this shit. And
This is what we get. I mean, this is kind of the backlash of this anti-cop music, anti-cop background or society that we have now. Is that not only do people want to defund the police, people talking about how bad they are. Now there's people out there that feel like that they do not have to obey police command because of this.
and that's what it looks like, honestly.
Because
I mean,
you had 4 officers, dude. I don't care if it's a cop. I don't care who it is. Somebody pulls a gun on me, and unless it's just a certain circumstance where I have a way to defend myself, probably going to try to do what they want me to do. And I mean, these guys, you can't just assume that if you get into any kind of confrontation with the police or any kind of circumstance with the police, you can't just assume they're bad guys. And I think this is the kind of culture that we're living in today, is that these people think they just don't have to obey the law. He was duly warned to stop. He was duly warned to, I don't even know why that he was involved in this, but he was warned to stop. They told him, hey, chill. They come out, said there was a taser deployed. I've seen many, many videos of people who are on drugs or just people who tasers don't faze. Happens a lot. My main thing was that this dude was trying to get into the vehicle, and like Tate says, as soon as he gets in that vehicle and the cops have to chase him, it turns into a high-speed pursuit.
then it puts other innocent people's lives at jeopardy.
Who's to say there's not a single mom walking down the street with her kid in a buggy?
Yeah. And like I said, it's a really, especially in today's time, it's a tough situation to decipher. If we had body cams, I think that would be the tell-all.
And it is early, and it's going to be unfortunate because we don't have we're not going to ever get the body cam footage because they're not. There may be because I know most cop cars have dash cams.
Yeah.
Hopefully they have dash cam footage that will do justice either way.
Yeah, if they're wrong,
But
I want them to go to fucking jail. There's no doubt about it. If they're right, then of course I hope the guy still lives. Nobody deserves to die. I think there should be no consequences if he was in the wrong. But it's hard for me to make that judgment off this. And like I've told y'all several times, I'm not on one side or another. I'm not on the Black Lives Matter side. I'm not on the Back the Blue side. I'm straight down the fucking middle, about as middle as you can get. And I go off a case by case basis. The George Floyd murder, it was fucking murder. It was wrong. Or Ahmaud Arbery, wrong. Breonna Taylor, the cops fucked up. I mean, they're human. They're going to make mistakes, but there are consequences for every mistake. And I think the justice system has failed us multiple times. But you see in the George Floyd situation, the justice system is going to prevail. Didn't they upgrade it to first degree murder?
I doubt it, especially the body cam footage. I saw somebody talking about it the other day.
I think they can get a conviction on second degree.
They might be able to, but I don't. With the body cam footage showing him resisting arrest, I highly, highly doubt that it's going to prove that it was intentional. So
yeah, I think manslaughter. Anyway, he's going to serve prison time, and he's never going to be an officer again.
With this last shooting that we were just talking about, I think it's hard because a cop's job is to protect and serve, and that doesn't just mean that the people that they're dealing with right then. That means the people who live down the street 4 blocks, or
absolutely
the people who are walking across the road getting to their car after work. So I mean, they have to make a split-second decision. And if there's somebody who's violent, somebody who's trying to run for their lives, that car is just as bad as a bullet. I mean, because there's no taking that back at 50 miles per hour, 70 miles. I mean, it's just not happening.
From what this article I'm reading from Kenosha News, which is, I'm assuming, a local news outlet, they said the protesters were there within like an hour and a half, 2 hours of this video going viral. They were already there.
Did you see the one in Chicago a couple weeks ago where there was a guy who got shot by the police? I think from what I've seen, the police were justified in the shooting. But
I know
as soon as it happened, somebody comes over there and starts saying it was a 12-year-old
girl or boy.
girl or boy. I can't remember.
Yeah, they said it was a 12-year-old boy. Yeah,
And
I did
honestly,
see that.
I think it was I think it was purposeful that they did that because I think they just want to incite violence, hate, anything they can.
Luckily,
do.
we had body cam footage. I'm almost positive I saw the body cam footage for that particular incident. And I mean, it was pretty much open and shut case there. I mean, they were justified. The dude shot at them first. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's why I like body cam footage. Right then and there, as soon as they released that, because people were starting to protest and riot there because they had misinformation. So they said, fuck it, we're going to release the body cam footage immediately. And of course, it wasn't what it was made out to be.
and-
This could be the same situation.
Well, with this situation, I'm almost 100% sure that if he would have complied with the law and he would have stopped and let them talk to him, hey, let's find out, I would be actually willing to bet my left big toe that this would not have escalated like that.
Right.
Were they in the right or wrong? We might never know because we don't have body cam footage. We might find out from testimonials. But at this point, I don't think that we can get good eyewitness testimonials because everybody that's on that block that was not the police officers are going to say that he was in the wrong. That's just my opinion. I even if it was the truth, I don't think they would tell it at this point because
yeah. I mean, it's hard to keep your bias intact these days, especially with everybody pretty much feeling like they're forced to choose a side. You're either for police or against police. Unfortunately for me, I'm smart enough to realize that's horseshit, and you can do it on a case-by-case basis. I would be willing to bet that 99.9% of officers don't wake up in the morning and be like, I can't wait to fucking kill somebody today.
Well, and if I was a cop and my department did not have body cams, I would refuse to go to work until they got some.
Hell yeah, because
I would refuse.
Look at this. Just
Yeah.
today
Even
or
if the
yesterday.
cops were in the right and there was a gun in the car,
they're
then
getting scrutinized, buddy.
and that's what I'm saying. There's nothing to back up their side of the story other than their word. And in this environment right now, there's not very many people that care about a cop's word.
Right.
There's not. I mean, there is something that's not.
And body cams are great for both sides of the spectrum. It protects
I think
us
they're good
as
for
civilians from a murderous cop just wanting to go out and start fucking shooting people like the Wild Wild West. But it also protects those good cops that are making great decisions and doing everything the right way. It protects those guys too. So I'm a huge believer in body cams. So
This is going to be kind of like, because I know we talk about this stuff all the time. It's going to be my last kind of the best defense to put yourself in between you and potentially a bad cop or any kind of situation from the cops. Don't resist arrest. I guarantee this guy would not have been shot and killed if he was not.
Well, I'm
arrested.
not even really sure he was being placed under arrest. He was just being detained for
questioning because
basically they're trying to figure out what happened.
especially if this was a domestic violence. I mean, there's police departments take this very seriously because a lot of these people, especially in domestic violence situations, have to go back into that home.
Yep.
I mean, they have to go back in that. That's their life. The place that they got into this situation that they had to call the cops occurred where they live. So you got to take this more seriously. They want to get all sides of the story. And this is where I think what I said earlier, where it falls into play, where everybody just now assuming that we don't have to listen to cops anymore because there's some bad ones.
Well, I've got a question, which I'm not trying to point fingers at any side in this party again. Totally down the middle, but this is just a question I'm looking at from a logical mindset. If you have done nothing wrong in this situation, all you did was break up the fight, and the officers are there to help the community, why in God's name are you, not talking to them? You're making the cop's job a lot easier. You're going to get this issue resolved if you talk to them, tell them what happened, tell them what your involvement was. And definitely don't refuse to talk to them, and then when they tell you you're being detained, try to leave. Even if you don't want to talk to them, plead the fifth. They can't take you to jail. They're not that. I don't think they were ever trying to take him to jail. But once he got in that car, disobeyed the orders from the officers, then they might feel threatened. And that's a situation where, especially young cops or inexperienced cops, if this is a small town and there's not a lot of homicides or a lot of violence that goes on, these cops aren't experienced in this situation. You might get fucking shot.
Well, I mean, I don't even
I'm
think
not
it's a
putting
young
myself in that
cop.
situation.
I don't think it's a young rookie cop thing. I think at any
No, I'm
point
just saying in
that
general.
a cop feels like. My question is, why does a cop have to wait for the last second to save his life?
I don't think he should.
I don't think that I don't think he needs to put up with your BS and has to wait until the last second to make a decision whether he lives or dies, just so you can make stupid decisions the whole entire time you're in this situation.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm not condoning using
Well, and I'm
deadly
not condoning
force without-
using it either, but at some point, that cop has to make a decision whether he wants to go home or not. Whether he, I mean, even screw it, I guarantee he'd much rather go home and lose his job over something questionable, or
No.
have to prove, or at least be put on leave for a little while to prove that, okay, it was justified. I guarantee you that you got to start thinking about that. These guys want to go home too.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we'll leave it at that. We'll revisit as we start getting more and more evidence and facts in this case. We'll talk about it more for sure. I mean, this isn't the last we're going to talk about it. Josh, do you watch the NBA any? I already know the answer to this.
No.
All right, well, I'm going to talk a little. I got this request from one of our listeners to talk about the NBA playoffs, how I think it plays out. So I'm just going to go series by series real quick, something slight, then we'll move on to the next thing. All right, we'll start with the Western Conference. The 1 seed Los Angeles Lakers are up 2-1 on the 8 seed Portland Trailblazers. LA has a tough road to the finals. Even the Western Conference Finals is a tough road. They drew the 8 seed Portland, who when Portland's healthy can easily beat anybody in the Western Conference, I believe. You saw that in Game 1. Damian Lillard is a freak of nature. He's just a playmaker, and when he's on, there's nobody in the league that can guard him. I'm a firm believer in that. But I think LA gets it done. I even think they might win 4-1. We'll see tonight. I'll know a lot more tonight. They play tonight, 9:30. So if you're watching this or listening to this in the morning, you'll know if I'm wrong. Anyway, next series, 4 seed Houston Rockets take on the 5 seed Oklahoma City Thunder. I like the Rockets in this series, just because I think they're a little bit better than the Thunder. Now, I'm not a big basketball guru, but I will give you my predictions. So I got Houston and LA in the Western Conference semifinals. Moving on, the 3 seed Denver Nuggets take on the 6 seed Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz are the underdog here, I'm assuming. Lower seed. I don't know a whole lot about either one of these teams. I know Denver had a time where they were the number 1 seed in the Western Conference for a while. But Utah is just cruising. I think Utah wins, obviously. I'm not going to pick a team that's down 3-1 to win. So maybe I waited a little too late to do my picks. But I got Utah moving on. Now this series, the last series on the Western Conference, is really, really a good series right now. You got the Los Angeles Clippers versus the Dallas Mavericks, 2 seed versus 7 seed, tied 2-2. Luka Doncic, holy fuck, he's a superstar in the making, guys. This guy in the next 10 years is going to be mentioned with the LeBron James, with the Kobe Bryant, and I'm not exaggerating. As much as I hate to say it, I'm a huge LeBron James fan, but this guy is the real deal. It wouldn't surprise me if Dallas upsets the Clippers, but just to be safe, you can never bet against Kawhi Leonard. Give me the Clippers in 7. I think this goes to Game 7. Moving on, I'll go ahead and predict the whole Western Conference. LA versus Houston. Give me the Lakers because LeBron James. That's why. Fuck all y'all LeBron haters. I really am getting tired of the shit. Give the man his respect, man. He's definitely the best player in the game right now, but one of the best to ever play it. Just respect greatness. Then I got Utah and Clippers. Give me the Clippers just because that's what I want to see in the Western Conference Finals. Clippers versus Lakers. Now, this is where it gets tricky. I think the 2 best teams in the Western Conference make the finals. Give me the Lakers just because LeBron. Fuck it. I got LeBron going to another finals. Let's start with the Eastern Conference. Milwaukee's up 3-1 on Orlando, 1 seed versus 8. Milwaukee's going to win again. I think this will be over in Game 5. Give me Milwaukee. Giannis is a fucking monster. It's going to be tough to beat them in the East, but I think there are some teams that are capable. One being this next series I'm going to talk about, Miami versus Indiana. Miami is rolling. They're on fire right now. Miami's up 3-0 on the Pacers. Miami's probably going to sweep them tonight. They play a little later on, I think. Next series is already over, Boston versus Philadelphia. Unfortunately for Philadelphia 76ers, a lot of their best players that played. I don't think Embiid played at all. I don't think Ben Simmons played at all. So of course they're not going to win. Toronto has already swept the Nets. No surprise there. So we'll go back to the semifinals. Milwaukee versus Miami. Miami's on a tear right now, but give me Milwaukee. I think that's probably the best player in the Eastern Conference is Giannis. I don't think many people would debate that. One of the best in the league. And then I got Boston and Toronto. Give me Boston. I like how they're rolling right now. Tatum's a fucking monster. Probably the second best player in the East. Keep it a buck with y'all. Yeah, give me Boston. Boston versus Milwaukee. I think Boston may win that just because they're a more complete team. I think they're a little better. Then I got Boston and LA in the finals. Give me the Lakers, bitch. LeBron, king me for 4, bitch. We end this bitch. Anyway, yeah. Give me the Lakers.
Speaking of the NBA, did you see the Harold Luka fight thing?
Who?
Or not necessarily a fight. Luka Doncic, and I cannot pronounce that guy's first name, but the Harold, I'm going to try to. Montrezl Harrell. He plays for.
If they just fought, he must play for the Clippers.
They didn't fight, but he did something. I don't know if he had went and done.
Oh, when he
called him a bitch ass white boy.
Yeah, I did see that.
What do you think should happen? Do you think that his apology is just? Do you think it's enough?
Did he apologize?
I think he ended up having to come out and apologize.
Okay, so I know at first he didn't. Like right away he didn't.
Yeah,
and I think
this
that
article
just
is saying
shows-
that he did apologize for it.
Okay, well I think that the fact that he didn't apologize like immediately, like right after the game,
That he doesn't mean
he
it.
doesn't mean it. Yeah, it wasn't heartfelt. I think probably his PR team or the NBA
No,
came
they
out
definitely told him.
and pushed him in that direction. Like, hey, you should probably apologize for that. The only thing I don't have a problem with Banner on the court, but the biggest issue with me is what would happen if he would have called him a bitch ass black boy.
Oh, Luka would have been banned from the team. He probably would have been kicked off the team. And that's
I don't
my
know
problem.
if they go that far.
No,
I'm probably saying a suspension minimum.
I think there would have been some. He would not have been playing ball right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's up to interpretation how their
Well, no, I don't think it's
team
up
would
for
have.
interpretation at all. I think that's exactly
Well,
what
I'm
would
saying
happen.
up to interpretation of how the team would handle it.
Well, I don't
whether
think
they
it's
would
even up
kick
to
him
the
out.
team. I think the NBA would step in and be like, look, this is the minimum you can give him. Max, of course.
I think
is
he'd
kicked
be
off the team.
gone. I think he'd be
I think
gone.
he'd get suspended for the rest of the playoffs is what I think.
I honestly, I think he'd be gone, and that's the kind of double standard people get pissed off about is because nobody cared about it. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't
it
care
didn't bother
somebody-
me at all. I don't give a
care.
fuck.
It doesn't bother me
I
personally.
love a little trash
What
talk.
bothers me is the bias and the
Mm-hmm.
difference in if you're going to say that you don't tolerate any kind of racism during let's not tolerate any of it. Is what I just didn't know if you had seen that and what you thought would have happened.
I'm
if
gonna be
the roles
honest
were
with you. I
reversed.
don't think the other guy meant to be racist, but I think Luka is a white guy, and I think he was just calling him a bitch boy, basically. He just happened to throw that in there. I don't think he meant it to be racist, but
Well,
if Luka said it the other way,
it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered.
if Luka would have said it the other way, I don't think Luka's a racist, so I don't
and
think he
then
would
he
mean it to
went-
be racist. But
he
in the
went-
end, it'd probably be a double standard, like you said.
He
I'm
went and
almost positive.
dumped that wet 3 off on his ass the next game too.
Luka's nasty, bro. Luka is fucking sick.
I don't know. I don't know anything about either of those guys because, like I said, I don't follow
I'm
the
almost
NBA.
positive. Like I said, I don't follow the NBA like I do UFC or college football or even the NFL or NASCAR for that matter. But I'm almost positive Atlanta fucked that up. Atlanta could have got Luka, I think, but they traded back and ended up getting Trey. But I mean, it is what it is. Trey's good too, but I think Luka is the next superstar, and that sucks that Atlanta missed out on it. I'm not an Atlanta fan. I am an Atlanta Hawks fan. I'm a bigger LeBron James fan, though. I know how you feel about LeBron James, but I like LeBron.
I'm not even going to get into it. I'll get pissed off.
I know you will. You get pissed off every time I talk about LeBron. Anyway, all right. So we're winding down here. This is probably going to be a shorter episode because I'm trying to save some shit for the live tomorrow. Go ahead.
Did you see Henry Cejudo said he's coming out of retirement?
Where's he going? I know he wants to fight Alexander Volkanovski
This is
for
from
the
Central
145
Sports.
for the 145 title. Is that something he's actively pursuing, or is he going to go back to bantamweight or flyweight? Where's he going? He's really versatile, so he has a lot of options. Honestly, he's a big flyweight.
Right now it's saying that he identified Volkanovski as the ideal opponent, and he's.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's been talking
What
even
if-
when he was in retirement. He was kind of talking trash.
I don't think he retired because he didn't want to fight. I think he was trying to negotiate with Dana White.
But he's
Dana
also
White's
been-
not the kind of dude that's gonna.
He's also been talking trash to Stylebender. Of what this article says.
I'm almost positive that isn't bad for him.
No, yeah, I mean,
Stylebender's a 185er, and Henry Cejudo is a smaller than average bantamweight,
Yeah.
which is a 135er. So I'm gonna have to go with Stylebender on that one, kicking
That's
his
what
fucking
it doesn't.
ass.
That doesn't want. That's what irritates me is when you see these guys knowing good and well they're never going to fight these people.
Like Dylan Dennis,
Yeah,
talking
like
shit to
Dylan
Stylebender.
dude, I love Dylan
Yeah,
Dennis. I love the way he talks junk, especially Jake Paul. Every time he talks junk to Jake Paul, liking it on Twitter because
I love Dylan Dennis,
I
but
think
the
it's-
fact
but
that he talked shit to Stylebender
that's
and the
my
fact that
thing
he
is,
talked
like-
shit to what's the fucking 170 champion? Goddamn, Kamaru Usman.
Yeah,
The fact that he talked shit to him, come on, you're never gonna fight these guys. You're
and
a
I think
55er,
Usman
and
like
you're
would legit crack him.
no for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, that, even if
I'd
even
still
if
watch
it's
it,
some
though.
even if it's some miracle, Usman could like pull off getting the weight and go down to
55.
yeah, go down to 55. I think he'd crack me even at that weight. He would still crack him.
He's just huge. He's a big dude.
In which Dylan Dennis, number one, not even in the UFC. So
Not yet.
get out of here,
Not yet, but he's undefeated in Bellator.
Bellator.
Bellator is probably, it's not probably, is the second best promotion in mixed martial arts.
Oh, it is, but it's still like that's
It's a big drop off. I'll
Yeah.
say that. You saw what happened when Ben Askren came to the UFC. He might have been under the one fight championship. I don't fucking know. But anyway, he wasn't in the UFC. Came in there. Jorge Masvidal cracked him with the knee in like 12 seconds and killed him. Pretty much ended his career.
really did.
So baptized him, as Henry Masvidal would say. Baptized the shit out of him. Yeah, but I wouldn't mind seeing Henry Cejudo come back. Henry Cejudo is a cornball. There's no doubt about it. He's a corny motherfucker. Can't really talk shit very well, but the bitch can fight. So it really don't make a fuck to me. He can fight, and I think he'd give Alexander Volkanovski a run for his money. Now after the 145 division, I think that's about as far as he can go. He's not beating Khabib. He's not beating Justin Gaethje. He's not beating Conor McGregor. Let's keep that 100 right now. Not beating Tony Ferguson either. Those guys are just too big. I mean, I think he can give Alexander Volkanovski a run for his money because of Alexander Volkanovski's build. I think Max Holloway presents a lot of problems for Henry Cejudo with his length. Volkanovski's a lot shorter. He's built kind of like Cejudo, honestly. Cejudo's a compact guy. He's not real tall and lanky, but explosive as fuck. I think he'd give him a run for his money. So if he's coming back and he wants to make that fight, Dana should make that fight happen.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't make the Max Holloway fight for a third time, even though I think Max won the second fight. I don't think there's very many people who disagree with me on that. But you just can't make that fight 3 times in a row. It'd have to be later on down the road if that fight was to happen.
There's a lot of good fights coming up.
Oh, fuck.
or can
Adesanya
even be
Costa's coming
possible.
up. Adesanya Costa's coming up. That's going to be a fucking brawl, son. That ain't going to be no tiptoeing around. Paulo Costa's coming out there to knock your fucking head off. And Israel Adesanya is one of the best strikers in the game. This is going to be fucking amazing. I might cry during that fight. Who else is on that card? Let me look it up real quick. That's a fucking banger card, I'm pretty
It's
sure.
soon. It's soon.
It's
We're not-
September 26th, I think.
Yeah, 23rd to 26th is coming.
Yeah, that's coming. Hold on just a second. I'll tell you exactly when it is. Right here, September 26th, Saturday. Of course, Saturday. I mean, that's pretty much a given. Let's see who else is on this card. If they have all the fights yet. Okay, maybe it's not a burner card. Yeah, I don't know any of these people. I'm gonna be honest with you, but that fucking main event will make me watch it anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
And I like watching fighters. I don't know, learning new stuff. Anyway, let's move on. The last thing I've got, did you see where Tennessee passed the new bill? It's the SB 8005 bill. Did you see what they did to try to discourage people from protesting and rioting? Did you see that shit? So
Yeah.
the bill is basically, I'm going to read you the 4 things I got from it. It's mandatory 45 days in holding for aggravated rioting. Aggravated rioting would be like tearing shit up, destruction of property, or fighting the police. Any shit would be aggravated in nature. You're going to jail for 45 days.
No bond, correct?
No bond. No. Increases fines against protesters. This one is a little iffy for me. You definitely want to make sure everybody has the right to protest peacefully. But there are certain places you can't protest. I mean, if it's private property and they don't want you there, you can't be there. So you're going to get a fine, and it's now increased. So, but I mean, it's not saying you can't protest. It's just
No, it's not. And I mean, I think it's solely. I mean, you saw what happened to those two couples where they busted down a private street, broke a gate, went in there, and I mean, the media called it peacefully protesting. It wasn't. I mean, when it comes to private streets, people really don't understand. That's like legit private. If you have no reason to be on there, like they can call the law and have you taken away and have every right to.
Well, it's definitely not peaceful when you start destroying people's property. If that's their gate, don't touch their fucking gate. It's that simple.
Well, and
unless you want to if you come to my house and start tearing up shit in my yard, I'm coming out with a gun too.
Facts.
And I probably won't shoot you unless you threaten me, but I want you off my goddamn property. Yeah. That's just how it's going to be.
I have. I mean, they did. I mean, they never fired shots. They had a lot of scrutiny for pointing it at people, but I mean, if I feel like I'm at the point where I need to bring a gun out, there's no not pointing.
I'm not going to bring
it
out unless I think I need to. Anyway.
And that's what dude, I grew up around guns, and my dad always told me, son, don't ever point a gun at something you don't intend to kill. So, I mean, if I have a gun out, odds are it's not a threat.
Yeah, I've already made the decision that if I have to, I'll kill you.
So,
I really like this one. The third one, forces riders to pay restitution. So somebody comes in your yard, starts fucking breaking shit, then they got to pay fines that are going to be directly to the victims. Yeah. And I think that's the only way to do it.
My thing is, how are you going to enforce them paying this? Because, I mean, a lot of these people, you see them don't have a job, so how are you going to enforce this? So is the
same way
they're going to be like a lawsuit?
Probably a lawsuit, but the same way, I think it'd be easy to enforce. Same way you do if you don't pay a traffic ticket. Your license is gone. You take their right to vote away until they pay it. Take all their rights away until they fucking pay it. You want to come on my property and destroy my shit? You're going to pay for it.
I think that's
that simple.
It's one of the best ways that I see to stop this violent protesting is because you see Tennessee said, okay, we're not messing around. We're sick of our stuff being, I mean, wasn't Nashville destroyed? There was a part of Nashville that was
part of it, I think. I think a part of every major
city.
And
I think they got sick of it because a lot of these people are suing the city for trying to get their stuff paid for because they allowed it to go on.
Yeah.
I think it's a little. If you saw, you know who the mayor of Chicago is. I can't remember her name, but she looks like an alien.
Right.
Yeah, it's a woman.
Yeah, I know who she is. I don't know her name.
She recently came out and made it illegal to protest down her drive. Like she put, like her street, she's got cops out there. Like you cannot step foot on there. She arrested there was a bunch of people that got arrested and prosecuted.
It is what it is. People are tired of their shit getting destroyed.
Well, but that's
if you're peaceful protesting, you will never hear me complain. If you're standing up for something you believe in, that's your right as an American citizen.
I think as part of being peaceful, I don't really even want the junk going on down my road. To be honest with you.
Hey, I'll be honest with you. If they're marching up and down my street, they're not fucking with any of my shit. I'll go out there and support them. I mean, I may not agree with your side of what you're trying to say. I may think differently than you, but if you're standing up for what you're believing in and you're doing it the right way, I can get behind that. I can support you. If the law comes out here and starts fucking with you, I'll be like, hey, leave them alone. They're not fucking up anything.
But that's the last thing I want is people honking horns and blaring air horns.
Yeah, of course.
Nap.
Well, that's disturbing the peace. Well, that's disturbing the peace. That's a different story.
But she did. I mean, she's all for them protesting. Is like literally promoting them. I mean, even letting violent protests go on and like telling the cops not to do nothing about it.
Who is this now? The lady in Chicago?
The mayor of Chicago. And
then on her street, she's like,
on her street, she's like, nope, ain't nobody screwing nothing up around these parts. I mean, I support you, but I don't really.
Yeah, that's a little
and I think, I mean, you got to start thinking about who your leadership is now more than ever, is because you got to start weeding these guys out, like, especially like that, who are willing to put you through something that they're not willing to put themselves through.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, obviously, she's been getting paid this whole time. There's not been a lot of people. I'm sure most people, Chicago's still on some kind of lockdown, so I'm sure there's a lot of people who aren't on the job, ain't getting paid.
I think that place in Wisconsin's on lockdown too right now. They have a curfew and shit because of all the protests going on. Anyway, the last point I'll say about this Tennessee SB 8005 bill, it makes the tax, and I really like this one too, makes the tax on first responders a Class C felony. So you're going to be a convicted felon if you attack a first responder. That's a paramedic, a fireman, or a police officer.
Yeah.
You're going to be a felon.
Well, and I think that's really important too, because I mean, like you saw in the Chop in Seattle, wasn't it?
Oh my god! These fucking guys. I do not like Antifa.
There was people who got shot in the Chop, and those protesters, those guys would not let law enforcement in. Like violently told them that they were not allowed in.
Okay, fine.
And
That
person ended up dying.
I mean, that's their own fault.
There had been multiple. I think there was multiple shootings inside there. I think there had been a couple deaths, maybe one or two. Or I know for a fact one. I think there might have been another one, but I can't remember. So
yeah, that is an extreme. Chad, whatever the fuck you want to call it. This Antifa shit. I'm really middle of the road. Like I said, on most everything, I'll just judge it on a case by case basis. I'm not Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not 100% anything. I just go with what I think's right at the time. These fuckers are stupid. That's just, I mean, anybody with a brain can look at this and say, you're fucking stupid.
Well, I think it's really important that Tennessee came out, and I mean, this bill is showing all these first responders that, hey, the state of Tennessee is behind you and we support you, and we're not going, because I mean, you look at Atlanta, I don't know how long that police walk out or how many just never come back. But I mean, I think
most of them have come back.
They just felt like they weren't being supported by their their boss, because the mayor she's ahead of the police department along with the police chief. She just felt like they weren't being supported. Felt like their government or their bosses didn't care about them. Their city didn't care about them. So I think that's a step in the right direction Tennessee took to say, hey, we're going to support y'all, and we're going to try to make this as easy as a transition and make this time easy for these guys who are in law enforcement, who are just trying to go out there, maybe firefighters trying to put out fires, and EMS just doing their job.
Yeah, I like most of this bill. I'd say 90% of this bill. There's a couple of things that are questionable that I won't get into right now, maybe next episode. But anyway, that's all I got for today. Pretty good episode, I feel like.
Yeah.
Some pretty interesting topics going on in the United States. There's never a dull moment here with the fucking CNN and Fox News going off all the time. There's never a dull moment. We can always find content.
I'm sure there's
going to be America.
I think there's going to be some interesting stuff coming up, especially with the Republican National Convention coming up.
First of all, before we get off here, did you see on the Democratic National Convention they had all them people on the stage and none of them wore masks?
Dude, I saw it. You know, I was going to go home as soon as I go home, actually. I'm getting home because it starts tonight. And Hulu cast the whole Democratic National Convention. Like, it was there, free to watch, everything. I'm excited to see whether they're going to do the same with the RNC. Because I know how Hulu's politics lie. I mean, we all know how those big corporations.
I've never thought about it, honestly.
I'm ready to see how they're going to respond, and if they're going to let it be up there, because, I mean, that's just, I think that a bunch of people are just, especially companies, don't feel like they can be tied to the Republican Party now, just the way that the country's shifting, or at least the media's shifting. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to go home. I'm going to try to watch it. We might do a little bit of segment talking about
that on the live tomorrow.
Yeah, kind of a little. I mean, it's a 4-day. It's a 4-day
we'll talk about it.
So we can talk about it and
talk about anything you guys want to talk about. Come on there and ask us some fucking questions so we can get rowdy in this bitch. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate y'all. Like I said, it's Tuesday morning while you're listening to this. Y'all have a great week. Don't do anything stupid. Try not to get COVID. And we'll see you again this weekend, probably.
Don't resist arrest, and we'll see you on Facebook Live tonight. Y'all have a good day. Peace. Holla.
Welcome to the B-Max Sports Podcast.
Hey, we got 30 minutes for the rest of our lives. 30 minutes for the rest of our lives.
Make sure to subscribe on all platforms.
Let's be great.
Hope you enjoy the show.